I don't believe it. It's available on yet another platform. The table. Yes! Welcome to Click. I'm Spencer Kelly and welcome to Las Vegas, one of the most famous skylines on the planet. Although as you can see, it is constantly changing. Now this is where the technology world kicks off its new year every January at the enormous Consumer Electronics Show, which takes place in the vast Las Vegas Convention Center, which stretches left to right. And what a show it's going to be. And while some things are going low-tech, we'll be concentrating on the more high-tech things on the show. From an in-depth look at the exploding tablet scene to colour e-readers and, ovens. We'll also hook up with the boss of Microsoft to find out what the future holds for its games controller and the biggest operating system in the world, Windows. All that plus the latest tech news and some tips on how to tell the world how you're feeling in Webscape. And we start with the hot topic from last year, which shows no signs of cooling down this year. CES 2011 is chock full of brand spanking new tablets. And Mark Chislak has been polishing up on as many of them as he can.
The Consumer Electronics Show. Lots of noise. Lots of people. And this year, lots of tablets. Manufacturers big and small have well and truly jumped onto and strapped themselves in to the tablet bandwagon. These touchscreen, app-happy little rectangles that offer a window to the web have cropped up in almost every single corner of this enormous electronics extravaganza. And this is all the iPad's fault. Machines on show range from tabs with 4, 7 and iPad-esque 10-inch screens, the vast majority powered by Google's Android mobile operating system. It's fair to say that up until now, Android tablets have been a bit disappointing. Most use the latest incarnation of Android, version 2.2 or Froyo. And none are as smooth or as slick to use as Apple's iPad. The reason for this is the Android operating system itself. It was originally designed for use with mobile phones, and while it works fine with phones, in order to use all of its features, like Marketplace, where you purchase apps, the OS will only support devices with a 7-inch screen. Any bigger than that and all bets are off. So it was back to the drawing board or keyboard in the case of Google's software engineers. This is Motorola's Zoom, and when it's released around spring, this 10.1-inch tablet will use a version of Android called Honeycomb, or version 3.0 if you prefer.
When they were using 2.2 on tablets, that was an operating system designed for phones. So it was basically a stretched phone operating system, not intended to be on a tablet. The Android 3.0 was designed specifically for the tablet space.
The user interface has been redesigned to reflect the differences between smartphones and tablets. It now has a bar which contains the tablet's apps. The user can open this up and instantly switch between those apps. The Zoom has cameras front and rear, and Honeycomb will support video chat using Google Talk. Overall, the operating system's overhaul should differentiate it from smartphones and take advantage of tablets' larger screens. We'll have to wait till later this year to find out if Honeycomb, with the 100,000 apps available in the Android market, and offers a viable challenge to the iPad. But it's not just Android tabs on show. Long teased, BlackBerry's 7-inch Playbook has finally broken cover. It uses an operating system called QNX and sports front and rear cameras. Initially, it will only connect with the web via Wi-Fi, although it can tether via Bluetooth to a BlackBerry phone and share all of the phone's calendar, email and messaging features. A WiMAX version of the tab is planned for launch in the US later this year. But is this enough for business-minded BlackBerry to tackle the fun and fluffy tablet market?
So we're really trying to make this tablet experience more than just a point and tap experience of actually being able to do, it's a multi-touch interface. So being able to do multiple gestures on the screen to do different functions and really make it a quick, easy experience. So one thing that we looked at is the actual bezel. So all tablets have a bezel. What we've done is added functionality to that. And we've introduced a series of gestures that both are within the operating system itself and that third-party developers can take advantage of. So switching between applications is all done by swipe. So every area on the screen, even if it's not visible, it's actually a gesture area.
So far, the Playbook is a solid device, but it's still being tweaked, and we've not had any word on pricing yet. There is, of course, one other major player in the tablet stakes, Microsoft. Windows 7 supports touch, so inevitably, Windows-powered tabs have started to appear. But while Windows works absolutely fine with PCs, laptops and netbooks, when it's crammed inside the skin of a tablet, well, that's a very different story. Surprisingly, Microsoft didn't announce a new version of Windows specifically created for use with tablets. Windows 7 wasn't designed for tablets, so it can be difficult and frustrating using Windows-powered tabs. The user interface just has too many small keys and controls to quickly and smoothly perform any tasks. Undaunted, manufacturers like ViewSonic have created a 10-inch device powered by Windows and Android. And Asus have perhaps taken a safer approach to Windows tablet design by creating a tab which has a stylus and a keyboard. A little bit like a laptop then.
Mark Chislak. So, what of Windows on tablets? Is Microsoft getting ready to adapt its most famous products for a world without keyboards or mice? Well, that's one of the questions that I put to the company's CEO, Steve Ballmer, when he gave me a tour around the Microsoft stand. Do you think Windows 7 is a good tablet operating system?
Windows 7 is a phenomenal operating system for letting people do millions of people, hundreds of millions of people do the things they want to do. And what we have here is just a few of the new form factors. This is a 2-screen design that comes from Acer. You want a keyboard, put 10 fingers down, and you have a keyboard, very new. Of course, it's touch, but you get a very full-size keyboard on it.
Specifically for a screen-only device, which, of course, are very popular now.
Is this a screen-only device?
That is a screen-only device.
Well, no. It's a screen-only device from Samsung, if you want it this way. If you pull it out, it's a keyboard and a screen.
So basically what you're saying is that for touch alone, with no other inputs, Windows 7 may be a bit limited. There's too many icons.
I say
too
nothing.
small.
It is what it is.
It's very, very small options.
Well, let's show you some other form factors. That's the brilliance of having a set of hardware partners who will give you multiple form factors. Let me show you a couple others. This is a form factor from Dell. Certainly looks like a regular old notebook. Of course, you flip the screen around. And now here, things are much easier to touch. Let me show you another example. This one's from Asus. Just feel the weight for a minute. This is a full PC.
Have you ever tried double-clicking with a touch screen?
Sure.
Because it's not as easy as double-clicking with a mouse.
Sure. Boom. It's double-clicking. You just touch twice with your finger. Minimize.
That's just my point, you see. The icons within Windows are built for a little bit more accuracy.
No, we are designed for touch optional. But if you actually sit and take a look at it and work with it, it works pretty darn well. Now, we've added pen support also, in addition to touch. So then I can come back, and it's a full PC. So particularly the way we've optimized the hardware and software here, it's still done the way you said, but the buttons are much bigger. It's very easy to just touch on it, and things shrink and grow.
Still took him 3 attempts to minimize that last window, though. Anyway, there are indications that the next version of Windows will be more tablet-friendly, as it's been announced that it will run on ARM-based chips, which are currently found in more portable devices. In the meantime, though, Microsoft is already having success with another of its products, the motion-sensing games controller Kinect. But while the device is supposed to only work with the Xbox 360 games console, several enthusiasts have managed to get it working with a PC in order to use it for things other than just controlling games. What do you make of the enthusiasts who bought a Kinect and didn't plug it into an Xbox, they plugged it into a PC, they cracked the codes, and they're starting to use it for all this other stuff? Did you expect that to happen when you were thinking of Connect?
Sure. It happened probably a little bit quicker than we thought. We thought we might orchestrate
I think it was 3 hours, wasn't it?
yeah, probably not much longer than that. I think we had a view that said we could orchestrate how that would all happen, and we were so heads down to get this scenario to work that we weren't that focused on the get-go of sort of arming the innovators. But I think it's fantastic to see all the things people have done with Connect, with PCs, etc.
So will you plug in the Connect to a PC? Will you go for that in the near future?
We'll support that in a formal way. In the right time, and when we got an announcement to make, we'll make it.
Of course. Okay. I played the rafting game for about 10 minutes and then I had to sit down for about an hour.
But
Do you?
It is taxing. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And?
Dance Central I love the sports games. I play with my kids. My wife never liked just the shooting stuff. She loves this. We'll come down, we'll watch movies. She will come down and play the dance game.
Is there any footage of you playing Dance Central? I bet that's a close.
I could post to Facebook, of course.
But I don't think you will.
I haven't yet. I have not yet.
Steve Ballmer, CEO of Microsoft, with some interesting thoughts there. But the main question, surely, is whether Microsoft can remain a dominant force in technology as the focus continues to shift away from the PC that it made its name on. Your thoughts would be really appreciated. Email click@bbc.co.uk or tweet us @bbcclick. Next, this week's tech news. Sony has taken legal action against hackers who've released details on how to jailbreak the PlayStation 3. The code would allow the console to run custom-made software and pirated games, although one of the hackers responsible, calling himself GeoHot, said he was interested in helping users install another operating system, not promoting piracy. The code has been removed from his website pending the court's decision. And another lawsuit, this time Microsoft versus Apple, over Apple's move to trademark the term App Store. Microsoft says App Store is too much of an everyday term to be trademarked, much like the words shoe store or toy store, and should continue to be available for use by all without fear of reprisal by Apple. Apple submitted the application in 2008, shortly after it launched its App Store for the iPhone. And MySpace could soon be someone else's space after News Corporation admitted that it was looking for a buyer or a partner for the site. The one-time darling of social networking has been waning in popularity and last week laid off 500 staff, around half the total. Facebook, meanwhile, is facing a fresh challenge from the twins who claim that they came up with the idea. The Winklevoss brothers have gone to court seeking more than the $65 million they settled for in 2008. A decision on whether the case will be reopened is expected in the next couple of months. Now, there's plenty of huge companies making huge announcements here at CES, but there are also some smaller outfits with really interesting devices, as long as you look hard for them. And I'll show you one now. Right, imagine you're out and about, you have your camera, it doesn't matter what kind of camera it is, you take an interesting photo and you want to upload it to the internet immediately. How do you do it? Right, have a look at this. I'll take a photo of me, and then within a few seconds, you should see there, the photo has transferred from the camera to the phone. So, what's going on? And remember that this camera has no wireless capabilities. There's no transmitter inside this. Well, not, that is, until you stick one of these in. Now, this is an iFi memory card. So it's a memory card that you store your photos on, but it also has a transmitter inside. Now, we've actually seen these before on Click. Previously, you'd put this in your camera, taken photos, and when you've got home, this would wirelessly talk to your home router and squirt all the pictures you've taken up onto the internet. The latest development is that you don't need to be at home and you don't need a router. This becomes a wireless hotspot. So you take your photos, this becomes the hotspot, and then, phone please, you switch the Wi-Fi option on your smartphone, it contacts the iFi card and sucks all the pictures onto your phone. Then you can use the mobile network to upload any pictures and any incriminating evidence you fancy. Right, Dan Simmons and Richard Taylor are waiting in the wings with other stuff that they found around the floors of CES this year.
I know what you're thinking. I wish my oven was that clean. Well, LG can't help you with that, but they have created one that talks to your mobile phone. It tells you when the food's ready so you can come running and get it out. If you don't want to come running, you can use your mobile phone to control the oven over Wi-Fi or the cellular network to say, keep that food warm for me for a bit, I'm a bit busy in the garden or watching a movie. The oven, of course, is also connected to the internet, so if you want a new recipe, it's as simple as connecting up to the server and maybe downloading that recipe for apple tarts. This is LG's 57th take on the internet fridge. Usefully, it has a screen on the front that tells you what's inside the fridge. There's another way that we can find out that, and that's by opening this door and looking inside. But the screen over there is connected to your mobile phone again. So if you're on your way home and not sure what you've got, whether you've got the ingredients for dinner or not, then it will appear on your mobile. Maybe no need to go shopping. The only problem with this is the interface is a little bit clunky. If you buy, for example, some fish and put it in the fridge, we need to drag the fish symbol across and put it on a shelf. If I eat some eggs, then I've got to remember to take my eggs away and put it over here, so it's constantly updated. Even LG admit that's a little bit tricky. Now, both the oven and the fridge are part of a range of domestic products that LG are putting out under a ThinkQ brand, all of which are connected to the internet in some way and aim to help our lives be a little bit easier. This, for example, is the washing machine. It is connected to the net, so you can download specialist washing cycles, and again, like the oven, it will tell you when it's finished on your mobile phone. You can then control it and say, well, look, you know, I'm not ready to take the clothes out yet. Do you mind giving him a gentle spin or a rinse to keep the creases out?
With all the tablet mania at CES, it's very easy to dismiss these things as yesterday's technology. E-readers have been doing big business over the last year or so. Think the Amazon Kindle. And with a very, very long battery life and something that looks and feels like a traditional paperback, very easy on the eye as well. But of course, they are black and white, so don't look quite as sexy as tablets. But now, there's a device that might change that perception somewhat. This year sees the launch of the first commercially available colour e-reader, which is based on exactly the same technology as its black and white forebear. Now, if you look at this, what you'll see is 4,096 different colours. That's what it's capable of. And it's a colour filter that sits above the regular black and white screen. They've achieved this by making the blacks blacker and the whites whiter. The so-called contrast ratio has been vastly improved, doubled over the past year, so that when you do overlay a colour filter, the whites and blacks still show through, as well as the colours. Now, you still can't run video on this kind of device because the refresh rate, the time it takes for the screen to reinvent itself with a new image, is still way, way too slow. It's only capable of about 4 frames a second. Video needs about 30. But nevertheless, for people who are into the ebook market, for students who have textbooks with images in colour, it's a real step forward and potentially a real boon for the publishing industry. You may or may not have noticed that the world has gone 3D crazy recently, and CES 2011 is full of 3D TV screens. Lots of companies are showing off refinements to their technology to make the experience better. They're showing off new glasses. These are active glasses, but they're the smallest and lightest ones I've ever seen. And how about this? This is really interesting. Now, we've talked in the past about the fact that if you want to film a 3D image, you need 2 lenses, one to shoot the perspective of each eye. This is prototype technology that's trying to remove the need to get a 3D camera. This is just a normal 2D camcorder with 1 lens. And what this TV is doing is trying to guess what should be in the foreground and what should be in the background based on things like how big things are and how fast things move through shot. Now, put the glasses on, you can see that we are getting some image doubling, so it really is doing some 3D stuff. And I can see that the image is being turned into 3D, and it's doing it in real time, which is pretty impressive. I have to say, it's not quite there yet. It doesn't feel completely 3D. The depth doesn't feel right, but it's doing it in real time, and if it's halfway there now, maybe by next year, you won't need to buy a 3D camcorder at all. Interesting stuff. Okay, next up is Kate Russell and Webscape.
Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, Flickr, LinkedIn, Foursquare, the list of places where you can update the world on the state of your mind is seemingly endless.
I say hello, how do you do?
Who has time for so many social sites anyway? If you are a social networking junkie, Hello Text is a service that can give you back some of your real-world social time by updating your status across multiple sites without having to visit them individually. The list of supported sites is impressive, 50 at last count, and apparently still rising. If you're a member of all of them, that will save you oodles of time, although, quite frankly, you probably need help. Ping.fm is a rival multi-status updater. Also a good service, but the Hello Text interface is a little more intuitive and looks a little fresher. They've also just released Android, iPhone and iPad apps, whereas Ping just have the Apple apps covered at the moment, though they do also offer SMS updates to limited regions. To round things off, the Hello Text apps bring augmented reality and finger-doodling extras to the whole experience. Now, seriously, go out and meet up with your friends instead of talking to them through the internet. Talking of meeting up with your friends, with so many school children having their own mobile phone, it's a worry who they might be giving their number to. Even for us grown-ups in this modern age of online dating and internet networking, giving out your mobile number isn't always the best idea.
Oh, brother, I can't get through.
Paging List aims to conquer this fear for UK and US residents by providing a simple paging tag to give out instead. When you want to speak to a contact, you just page them using their tag, and then if they're available, they can respond. Then your handset rings, you pick up, and you can both speak as normal. If you decide you don't want to speak to a contact anymore, all you need to do is block their tag. No need to change your phone number or any of the fuss that entails. In the UK, rates start at 4p per minute and 4 cents in the US, which is on a par with many pay-as-you-go mobiles. The full cost per minute will be displayed on your screen. Check the website for information about exceptions. One good reason to lose someone's number would be if they turned out to be a bit of a Neanderthal. You know what internet dating can be like. At open.ac.uk/Darwin, you'll find a fun little toy that will give you an early warning system. Click Devolve Me to access it. You'll need to upload a photograph of yourself or your upcoming date and then use the markers to position the facial features. Then just click to see what they'll look like as primitive man. If nothing really changes, I suggest you cancel the date. There are 4 settings taking you back as far as 3.7 million years ago. And if you want, you can post the results to the map. It's actually quite a nice way to learn about evolution too. And if you want to know more about Darwin's life and work, the whole site is worth an explore if you have the time. If you're a Facebook user and want to make the most of the new look profile page, which pulls photos from your album to create a personalised banner, take a look at this clever little widget at apps.facebook.com/profile banner. There are a selection of pre-made looks that spread across the 5 photo spots, or you can upload a single image that it will split for you. No mess, no fuss, just a great-looking personalised profile page.
Kate Russell. And that's it from CES for this week, but Click will be back in Las Vegas for more from the Consumer Electronics Show next week. In the meantime, check out everything you've seen today at our website, bbc.co.uk/click, and you can follow our antics if you dare on Twitter. We are at BBC Click. Just time to show you possibly the most amusing thing I've seen being hawked around. This actually works, even though it looks like a throwback to the 1980s. You can hear it ringing there, and that is actually because it's just a big case for your iPhone. Well, when you run out of new ideas, have an old one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.